So even after last Sunday's devastating loss to the Green Bay Packers, I still felt immediately after the game confident about the Vikings' chances going up against the Colts this Sunday. That was before I watched film on the Colts-Jags game last Sunday, and there is quite a bit to be concerned about for this Vikings team. We'll start with the Colts offense first. The offensive line. And listen, the Vikings D-line, they struggled mightily against the Packers O-line this past Sunday. This coming Sunday, however, their job gets no easier because the Colts O-line is legit. And also, as the cherry on top, let it be known, Quentin Nelson, and I'm not even kidding about this, Quentin Nelson is one of the most gangsta-ass dudes in the National Football League. If he wasn't playing football as an all-pro guard, he would no doubt be high security for Floyd Mayweather Jr. or Cardi B or whatever A-list celeb that you can think of. Bottom line, if the Vikings D-line shows up soft again, the game is over. You can forget about it. We move to the running backs. Jonathan Taylor, their rookie running back out of Wisconsin, he's the new starter after Marlon Mack suffered a torn Achilles, so he's out for the year. As far as running with the football, just handoffs, last Sunday he wasn't great. He averaged 2.5 yards a carry. He is dangerous, though, catching passes out of the backfield. And behind Taylor, you've got Nahim Hines, who is electric. Great agility, great footwork, very sharp with his cuts. If you're not careful, he'll make you fall. He'll break your ankles. And also, speaking of the running backs, over a third of the passing yards by Phillip Rivers was distributed among the running backs. So the linebackers for the Vikings, especially Eric Kendricks, they're going to have their work cut out for them. Now, speaking of Phillip Rivers, there's a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing going on here because on one hand, he still, much like his career with the Chargers, he still has the tendency to force passes into tight to close windows. This past Sunday against the Jags, he threw 2 interceptions. However, the flip side is he looks a lot more comfortable behind the Colts O-line compared to the Chargers. Number 2, Phillip Rivers on Sunday against the Jags, 99% of his passes, I would say, he wasn't dissecting the defense and reading, going to his first, second, third read and seeing which is the best option available. No, he was one read go, one read pass. So if you're the cornerback of the Minnesota Vikings and you see Phillip Rivers after the snap look in your direction, or even better, look at you, hey, alert, alert, alert. He's coming to you. So you've got to have tight coverage on your man. And then lastly, because of the pandemic, I don't know what they're going to do at Lucas Oil Stadium, but whether it's no fans or a few fans, we struggled last Sunday against Aaron Rodgers and that hard count, neutral zone infraction, offsides. Phillip Rivers, let me tell you something right now, is so animated. So naturally, with lesser people or fewer fans in the stadium, he's going to be a lot louder than he already is. You have to be careful for the hard count of Phillip Rivers. We now go to the Colts defense. Their D-line is a bit suspect, I would say. Outside of Danico Archery, number 96, he's the only guy that I was saying to myself, okay, the Vikings O-line, they should be worried about him because he's the only consistent disruptor that I saw this past Sunday against the Jags. But against the run, the defensive line, it's kind of bend but don't break because they gave up an average of 4 yards a carry against James Robinson and the run game of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Against the pass, it's really hard to judge this secondary because the Colts D-line, they don't really have a pass rush outside of Danico Archery. So it's hard to judge the secondary of the Colts because on one hand, the pass rush isn't there. But then on the other hand, you can kind of judge them a little bit because there were several situations where Gardner Minshew just snapped the ball, quick release. So he got the ball out really, really quickly. And then we get to Xavier Roads, which... Hey, Vikings fans, we know all about this dude. Colts fans, I feel really, really sorry for you to have to deal with this shit, but Xavier Rhodes is nowhere close to the dude that he was 2 or 3 years ago. He gave up that big pass interference. I forgot who it was against, and he just did the same thing, lift up his hands and say, well, I don't understand what happened. If Xavier Rhodes lines up against Adam Thielen, then and the D-line shows up, then we should win this game. But all things being equal, let's say the D-line doesn't show up. The Colts D-line, I'm assuming they're not going to show up either. It may come down to offense versus offense. Which offense makes the least mistakes? I'm going to say this is going to be a very close game. It's going to be won by the Vikings with the nastiest of scores. I'm going to say 18-14. Vikings, they'll get the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. We do this 3 times a week. Mediocre at Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. Check me out on Twitter at realistic_Randy. Facebook at Realistic Randy. We'll see you Sunday.